13. Lucky number 13. 13-1. Survive in advance. Who cares?
Woo!
If it ain't pretty, it's about getting the dub, and they got it. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. One and all. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. He's Barrett Brooks. He's Derek Gunn. I am Rob Ellis. What's up, fellas? How we doing on this Monday?
Couldn't be more happier right now.
Hey,
Amen.
look,
I like it, Barrett.
Couldn't be more happier.
Eagles find a way to get a win. Dallas loses on a ricochet. But let's talk in general terms for just a moment. If you are a sports fan, just think about the week in general. We see two great games on Saturday, culminated with probably the greatest World Cup game in the history of the World Cup. Argentina and France, what a shootout in that game. I look up at point, Argentina's up 2-0. It takes me 5 minutes to walk upstairs to my hotel room. I get up there, it's 2-2. Back downstairs, it's 3-3.
Yep.
And I have the privilege of being in that Galleria at Ocean Casino. You know, that place was packed with soccer football fans, but soccer fans also.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And everybody just ooh ah. You know, it's like wow. And then you look at the collection issues in the NFL on Sunday, and it's like one of the best sports weekends I can remember in quite some time.
Awesome. You're right, Derek. There's nothing that compares entertainment-wise. There isn't. Like, there's no reality show. Yeah, music's great, movies are great, TV show, no doubt. But the what you get with sports, man, I feel bad for people who don't like sports. They don't know what they're missing out on. Honest to God, they don't.
Absolutely, man. To go through what we went through. I mean, just looking at last week. I mean, just look at the Colts and Minnesota game. I mean, Minnesota comes back. It's the biggest comeback ever in NFL history. Number one, and that's even playoff and regular season. Watch that game. Then Dallas starts talking junk early in the week, and they lose in Dak Prescott fashion.
In typical Cowboy fashion. Yeah.
We go up, we do everything wrong, and we still win. This is just a perfect scenario for me because it's going to make that team stronger, number one.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's the little things that you do where you can get through adversity. Mm-hmm. See, this team, that Chicago Bear team had a week and a half, 2 weeks to get ready for this Philadelphia Eagles team.
Incredible.
2 weeks.
Yep.
They had 2 weeks of a game plan. So when you look at it with adverse conditions, they had 2 weeks to prepare for them. It was their Super Bowl. And at no point did I think we were going to lose that game. That just shows how good this team is.
Yeah, and look, credit to the Bears. They played their best game of the year.
Yeah, they did.
I truly believe that. I thought their defense played their best game of the season. And we're going to talk to our buddy, Marshall Harris, who we had on Friday. We'll talk to him a little bit later about the game and everything that went down. But, yeah, I mean, you know, what's funny, you know, as much as you look back and you say, boy, it was a struggle day for Jalen Hurts. He still throws for over 300 yards. Really, only one of the two picks was on him. The other one was on the wide receiver. And he rushes for 3, and he gets a 2-point conversion.
Right.
Like, that's what he does. It's not always going to be pretty. But first of all, he doesn't let anything affect him. He just moves on. All right, pick, whatever. We're not playing well, whatever. Everything's going to be fine. That's exactly what you need in a leader. You can't have some guy who's moping, who's got his head in his hands on the sidelines, who's throwing tablets, who's yelling at guys. That's not him. And I don't know if that's appreciated enough. He's unbelievably talented, but it's here, man. It's between the ears, which is so big for this guy.
You know, I almost felt sorry for the Chicago Bears. The game before the game, they're down Darnell Mooney, the best pass catcher. Claypool doesn't play. The top running back next to Justin Fields is out. Then Equanimeous St. Brown, his first catch, he gets a concussion. The left tackle goes down to the point they bring a card out and take him off. Mm-hmm. And then 4 or 5 other guys go out of the game. I'm thinking, man, if you talk about snake bit team.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more snake bitten can a team be in one season?
No, you're
goodness.
right. You're right.
It's not their time, man. It's not their time, right?
It's just unbelievable what they've had. And then on top of that, They trade their two defensive leaders, Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn. It's like, my goodness, when it rains, it pours on this team. But they gave a heck of a battle.
They did. They did. And to the Eagles' credit, when they had to make plays, they made plays. You think about the throw, the deep shot that he makes to Hurts, to Brown down the sideline is just a drop in the bucket. Beautiful throw. You can't throw it better than that. Let's not lose sight of the conversion on the last drive that you pick up on 3rd and 6, or else you probably have to punt the ball back to them. Yeah. And who knows? Who knows what happened? So, like, plays were made yesterday. And look, what we do our usual offense and defensive breakdown, but let's give some love to that defensive line, which is ferocious, man. Ferocious.
Right.
I mean, it is just an assault on the opposing team's quarterback every single week with these cats. They have more sacks than anybody, more sacks per game than anybody in the NFL this season. And they're destroying, shattering what they did last year in terms of the sack totals. It's incredible what they've done.
I just look at this team, man, in all phases of the game. They're able to go out and face adverse conditions, adverse opportunities that the other team takes advantage of. We get everybody's best, and that's what people gotta understand, And I see people in the stream, you can't really like saying AJ Brown's not playing hard. You can't say that. AJ Brown was playing his ass off. He was playing very, very hard. It's just he understands that when he was going a little above and beyond, he was causing turnovers. So now he's very, very he takes advantage when he can do it, but understand that he's playing his ass off out there. It may look like he's going. It don't even look like.
What did I miss? There's a beef with AJ Brown.
Yeah,
some people have seen. Yeah, in the stream.
Not playing hard.
Or he got paid too much. I mean, I can't say a 1,200-yard, 1,300-yard receiver is not getting paid too much.
It's a weird day to be floating that out there.
Dude had
9 catches, 181 yards.
Right. He's not playing hard.
I don't understand where that's coming from, man. Whoa. And then all right, Hurts threw 2 interceptions. One wasn't necessarily his problem. I mean, it wasn't necessarily his fault, but he has to take it. I mean, his receiver didn't cross the face of the safety, but I mean, he was able to bounce back from it. That team was ready. You know what I'm saying? That if they just didn't have enough horses.
No,
they have a great running quarterback, and everybody's trying to equate him to Jalen Hurts and all. No, he's not a Jalen Hurts.
No,
and for them to think that he's going to be a Jalen Hurts, it's not going to happen. Jalen Hurts is his own being, bro. He's not like anybody I've ever seen. He's not a throwback, he's not a drop back quarterback. He's also not a running quarterback. He is a quarterback that does his own thing. You can't put him in a box, at any point of saying he's just a running guy. He ran when he was in Alabama.
Yeah.
But when he got to Oklahoma, he was a drop back passer. And he's been able to marry the two together to become Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, a good point.
If you look quarterback, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you look at what you look at the Bears quarterback, he's gifted. He's a 4.4 guy, and they're just bringing this out. He was not a running quarterback when he was at Ohio State.
Yeah, because he didn't have to be.
You didn't have to, yeah.
He was a drop back passer.
Great players adapt to their surroundings and their circumstances and do what they have to do. And as Fields' career progresses, when he gets some help, he won't have to run as much. Jalen doesn't have to run as much as he ran last year. That's what really good, because that gear's there for those guys. They're not one-trick ponies. They can do what they have to do, man.
If they ever get Fields weapons, that kid's going to be lethal.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
The thing that always impresses me about him is he doesn't look like he's running that fast, but you can't catch him. Once he gets an open field, you can't catch this
guy.
dude.
He's ridiculous.
That one run he had down the sideline when he did that pirouette, I thought it was a touchdown until the replay showed he steps outside. I'm like, oh my goodness. On a 2nd and 27, he took off. I'm like, oh my goodness. And the Eagles, they had angles on him. He's still running past him down the sideline. I'm like, my goodness.
Amazing. Amazing. By the way, and hi to everybody in the chat section. And maybe you guys can help me out with this. You guys, Derek and Barrett and everybody in the chat room. Where are our Cowboy Weasels? Where are they? Where are they at? Was the rock not turned over?
What's that dude named? What's his name? Texas boy? Or
yeah, where are they at? I'm just curious where those losers are. Were they just they oversleep a little bit today, or was it because their team lost in excruciating fashion. I'm just curious. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm curious where they are.
Look at Rob. Rob, you taking on a D-gun role today? Is that it?
Well, when it comes to those losers, yeah, I am actually. Yeah. So anyway, just curious where they are, because they do go into hiding. That's for sure. I will. Let me throw this at you guys first. We're going to get into everything here. I know it's almost locked in. It's not quite 100% locked in that the Eagles get the 1 seed, right? I'm not even playing around on Saturday. I'm going all out with everything I've got on Saturday. There is no holding back. Oh, we'll win the next 2. Forget that, because you never know what the heck can happen in this league. I'm going full bore Saturday.
If they win their game, the 1 seed is locked up.
If they win one more game, period, the number 1 seed is locked up.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm saying wins, but you can't, like, there's already been this notion floated. Just be vanilla. Don't show them anything on Saturday. Maybe you don't play all the starters. Like, give me a break. No way.
No, I mean, this is Dallas, Philadelphia, Cowboys. That's, I mean, to think anything other than I'm just going to rip these guys' heads off is, you just don't know the way this battle has always been since I've been privileged to it. Is I hate Dallas, period. And that's what I'm living by. Last year, I almost threw up the entire game that we didn't play our starters in the game. I didn't care if it was Dallas. Dallas played their starters all the way up until halfway through the third quarter. Their starters played.
You're right.
And they were already in the playoffs.
Yep.
They played their starters until it was only like 7 minutes left in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
They played their starters against our backups. They already locked up the division. So don't tell me it don't mean nothing to them to beat us.
So Barrett, how long did it take after you were drafted by the Eagles to understand what the Dallas Eagles rivalry meant?
When I got off the plane, when they flew me up for the draft conversation after we got drafted, I was fully indoctrinated into Dallas. I had a fan come up to tell me, "Look, you could do 2-14, just as long as those 2 wins are Dallas." That's the type of notion they gave me when I first got here.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to hear anything other than, hey, we got to beat this Dallas team. And it does a lot for how this team approaches any game. You got to go in, going for their throat, bro.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
And like I've heard all this, like, well, you could play them in the playoffs. You don't want to show them everything. First of all, there's no guarantee you're playing them in the playoffs.
Right.
Dallas lost to the Jags yesterday, so there's no guarantee of anything. Secondly, again, you half step on Saturday and lose. There's no guarantee you beating the Saints or the Giants. Okay. So, like, take care of it, man. Finish it off. Finish them off. Do it at their place. Send a message. I think the message you would send by beating them in that game and sweeping them in the regular season is more psychologically damaging than you can't beat a team 3 times anyway, in my opinion. Just right. Where I fall with this.
I think the definitive message is, we beat you here, we beat you there.
Yeah.
What you got? What you got?
Exactly.
That's a big cycle, and it's true. There's something to be said for beating a team 3 times in one season. But you know what? Worry about that 3rd time down the road.
Same.
Finish them off. Finish them off this Saturday.
Derek,
you got to.
We're on the same page, man.
You got to finish them, man. You got to finish them, bro. There's no way around us whooping their ass. Period. Yeah. I don't want to hear anything other than, if I'm a starter, I'm playing. BG is playing. Kelsey is playing.
Exactly.
They want to make sure.
Yep.
They finish. Jalen Hurts is playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then, we already have this notion out there. Oh, it's the system. It's not Jalen Hurts. Okay, we're gonna see. This is it. We playing at home, and I need an early Christmas gift. I need that. Give me that.
By no stretch of the imagination do I think this will happen because of the way the Eagles go about their business. But if the Eagles, if Dallas gets on one of those rolls like they did against Minnesota, 40-3, like they beat down on the Colts, see, that's a different mindset now, because it's 1-1, and Dallas got their revenge, even though they can't win a division.
Right.
however the game plays out, I don't want to see it be one of these if it's lopsided for the Eagles, fine, because that's more demoralizing for Dallas. I don't want to see Dallas have one of those days like they did against those other two opponents and start beating their chest again. Because to be honest with you, I don't care. Right now, Dallas losing that game, they drop down to the 5 seed. I think they're gonna be one and done, whoever they play, to be honest.
Right.
I think you have two teams in the NFC that, to me, look like one-and-done teams. As phenomenal as that comeback was for Minnesota, as I've been telling you guys, Minnesota's been doing this all season.
Mm-hmm.
Some point in time, those comebacks are going to come up and catch you and bite you. You think there's 6 wins that they have on their schedule where they had to come from behind, a fluke interception, a big run, where they won those games.
Yeah.
You came from 33 points down to win that game.
And
that doesn't happen.
It's major props to the Vikings, but what it also is what was one of the worst coach games you'll see. This is why you don't hire guys off the street. I know Jeff Saturday played, and I'm not disparaging that, but he has not had the coaching experience to be able to handle these situations. And you saw it. You go for the field goal there, not to do a whole thing on that game, but you go for the field goal there, you make it 11 points. You don't try and sneak it with Matt Ryan.
No.
And you're in a dome in perfect conditions. Your guy buried a 50-yarder before. It's dumb football, man. And that's how you crack the door here. I'm not cracking the door for the Cowboys, and I'm not cracking the door for anybody else to get that 1 seed. I'm putting a kill shot on them if I can do it.
I wonder how Matt Ryan feels. He's been on the short end of 2 of the most embarrassing losses in his tenure. The Super Bowl against New England.
Yep.
And now this game, man. I mean, that's bad. I think Jeff Saturday just sealed his fate. We were talking about, could he
100%.
Possibly get the coaching job? He ain't getting that job. He can't. But Jim Irsay just wacko to do something like that. But you can't give him that job. You got to bring in a qualified coach.
Yep.
Who knows how to handle situations like that.
Right. How do you even think about giving a guy the job when he got out coached in so many facets of the game, man, from time management, player management, understanding how to stop the bleeding, knowing when to throw a flag, knowing not when to throw it. I mean, it was so many things that he just too young as a coach, not even a head coach, but too young as a coach, even too young as a coordinator to think that you're gonna get away with that. You know what I'm saying? He just was outclassed, man. That's all. Outclassed.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. So the other thing with it was a 25-20 final for the Eagles. So they're now 6-0 in 1 possession games. So as much as I know, like, the thought is it shouldn't have been this close against the Bears. And I get it. They were a 3-win team and there were ugly moments and they turned the ball over 3 times and there were a lot of things going on. But, I look back at the 2017 team. We tend to forget about the Atlanta game. Do you remember, that Atlanta game was really ugly, the playoff win, the divisional round.
Yep.
You got to win ugly games. You got to know how to win close, ugly games sometimes. And that's what you use this game for. That's the purpose of this game, to learn from some mistakes, but also know that, hey, we can be down a little bit. We'll be all right. We're going to make mistakes. We'll be all right. Let's try to avoid this or that. And in big spots. And that's my takeaway from this is you won on the road against a team throwing the kitchen sink at you. And you did what you had to do. When you had to make plays, you made plays.
Same thing happened in Minnesota. Minnesota learned how to win. They learned how to win ugly. They learned how to win at the last minute. So they came back and they won that game because they had experience of doing it. It was a learning experience for this Eagles team. No matter what happens, they will always be in it. At no point did I think that they were going to lose this game. No point. I knew they were going to win the game.
Primetime players step up and make primetime plays. Plain and simple. And they made primetime plays. I look at that 3rd and 6 when you're thinking, okay, they're just going to pick up, the necessary yards to keep the drive moving. Oh, no, he goes up top and goes deep. I mean, a perfect ball. And you're thinking, what if the ball had been a yard or 2 this way? It's out of bounds. What if the defender recovers, you grab his arm incomplete? Now you're looking at 4th and 6. You give the ball back to Chicago. But the quarterback makes a heck of a throw. The receiver makes the catch. Boom, they're at the 1. Touchdown. They go up against 2-point conversion, go up by 12. That was a huge difference in the game.
Yeah.
Huge.
It was.
Because I always say, you let a wounded animal in the NFL stick around long enough in the 4th quarter and think they can beat you, lo and behold, they'll find a way to bite you on the backside. I mean, Chicago didn't have the weapons, but they made that game interesting because of their running game, you know. And for whatever reason, even though the Eagles knew this kid was going to run, he needed 95 yards to crack 1,000 yards. I mean, Hassan Reddick should have had at least 4 or 5 sacks, but that dude was Houdini. That one, but he ducked under Reddick and took off. I mean, my goodness, you know. But you know, the bottom line is,
you won. Like I look at it this way: the Cowboys lost in overtime to the Jaguars. I know the Jags are playing way better, but still, they were up big and they fell apart and they lost that game. It took the Chiefs overtime against the Texans to win their game. Just look around the league at the stuff that happens week to week. It's its own chapter. Every single week, I know, you know, the Eagles are heavy favorites or 9-point favorites. It doesn't matter. It's a week-to-week league, man, and it's hard to win every week. Like, you're not going to win the way the Eagles have won the last couple of weeks, where you're just killing teams and your starters are out of the game in the fourth quarter. It just doesn't work that way. As much as it looked like it was going to work that way on paper, the reality is it doesn't.
Bro, it is so hard to win games in the NFL. People don't understand how the parity in the league is so close.
It is.
And an injury here or a mindset, not even a player, but a mindset of what a player is can take you over the top. A lot of these guys, man, going out there playing like, all right, situational football, understanding who your opponent is, what your opponent brings to the table. They just go out there and pick up Harris. Now, Harris is a cover safety. You know he's in shape. He just came from a roster, you know, so it's not like he's not in playing shape. Right. He could have played that game. But what do the Eagles do? Gannon says, all right, I'm not going to put him in right now. I don't need a covered safety. I need a box safety. I need a safety that can go out there and hang around that line of scrimmage, make plays, sure tackler. Well, that's what Kayvon Wallace is. He couldn't cover you with a blanket, but he can go up there, come and lay a hit, go up there and make some plays at the line of scrimmage, play within the box. So they just, all right, we're just going to go with him. We went into this game with 2 safeties. 2 safeties.
Yep.
And Kayvon Wallace played well enough for us to win the game, man. So that just goes to show they understand who they need and how they need to use them. And it worked out for him that this is the game. This is a Kayvon Wallace game. He had 8 tackles, 7 or 8 tackles this game. And all of them were crucial tackles and timely tackles that he made.
Yeah.
You look at the last 3 games, the Eagles are everybody's Super Bowl for these last 3 games.
Yep.
And Rob is right. You mess around and lose to Dallas. As lame as the Saints have been, that's not a guarantee you're going to beat the Saints. They have the weapons.
And the Saints still have life. And the Giants right now are 1 win away from the playoffs, but we don't know if they will have that clinched by then. So both teams could have something to play for here.
I never thought the Giants would beat Washington in Washington, to be honest. I never thought that. I mean, I tell you, that just goes to show you how crazy this league is.
Absolutely.
I mean, this weekend, did you? And I know we're going to talk more in depth about it. I never thought the Dolphins could go in there 19-degree weather, 20 inches of snow,
hold their own,
and they held their own. They could have very easily won. I mean, they put up 29 points in Buffalo, and Raheem Mostert ran all up and down Buffalo's defense. You know, Barrett, we talk about this all the time. The difference between winning and losing across the league on a weekly basis is so minute.
Yep.
And a lot of times it does come down to available talent. But look at how many games where fluke plays have decided that dumb play the New England made is. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you
right? Come on,
you know, it's just. But the whole league has been like that all season long. Look at this Bears team. 5 of their games were decided by 5 points or less. They're right there. They're like the Detroit Lions of last year. They're right there. They just don't have the people to finish the job. Now look at this Lions team a year later. They start off 1-6, could have very easily folded tent and just played out the season. All of a sudden, they're at the door of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They've gone 6-1 over the last 7.
Yep.
You know, it's just a matter of getting on a roll at the right time and having things fall your way.
Exactly.
It's so minute. The Eagles have to continue to go about their business as they have to get to this point at 13-1. But just know that Everybody's swinging at you a little bit harder. Everybody's punching at you a little bit stronger to try to knock you off that pedestal. It's going to be interesting because, I don't think they're going to go 1-2 the last 2 games. I don't think I'm not. When we get to Friday, I'm not picking against the Eagles down in Dallas.
No,
they're underdogs, by the way, for the first time all year.
What is it, like 1 point underdog?
It's 1 or 2, depending on where you're shopping here.
That is crazy to me, man.
Yeah, I'm not surprised one bit, Bear. I'm not surprised.
That is so crazy. And I went off on a postgame show last night about that, man. The total disrespect that this. And I thought it was just ESPN, man, but it's more. I told you, ESPN.
That's why I asked you guys the question last week. Why is there so much disdain for Philadelphia? Outside of Philadelphia, I've been here 25 plus years, and it just continues to flabbergast me. And Rob, you being a native Philadelphian, I thought you would have an answer, but I don't understand it.
Well, I'll give you mine. I think we take the bait. I think we lose our minds even though we say we don't care, we care. I think there's that. I think it's because it's the Cowboys, and I think they know that no matter what they do, or typically, if you're just talking about this specifically, I think it's the Cowboys because they always had them ranked ahead of the Eagles. I think they know it's going to get people on both sides reacting. Cowboys fans are going to love it, and those who hate the Cowboys are going to lose their mind too, Derek. I think it plays into it. I don't think it's an honest assessment of what they feel. I think they're trying to attract clicks and attention.
It works for us,
and it works.
But it's not just this week. It's consistently for years. Jalen Hurts on the outside looking in, he's not the odds-on favorite to win the MVP. What? I mean, look at all the polls. Okay, what? Eagles 13-1, Dallas is 10-4.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna tell them Dallas is favorite? Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
It's just the constant disrespect week in and week out, even in 2017. Nobody predicted that team would do what they did.
Right.
Even in the latter part of the season when they were controlling the NFC, people picked the Rams over the Eagles, so on and so forth. And of course, the Rams won that game because Carson got hurt. But even then, people were still disrespecting the Eagles. No way they do this with Nick Foles. They don't have a Pro Bowl left tackle. They can't do this. It's always something with the outside perspective when they hone in on Philadelphia, more so than New York, Boston, D.C., Chicago, Dallas. I've just never been able to figure this out about Philadelphia.
I got you. All right, let's come back. We'll dive into the Eagles' defense first. It was a defense that yesterday racked up 6 sacks that now is 55 on the season compared to 29 last year. And we'll give some guys some individual love here, but it was also a challenge with what Justin Fields brings to the table. So we'll do defense, then we'll do offense. Marshall Harris is going to be joining us. We had Marshall on Friday, caused some stir, predicted the Bears would win. We'll see what the spin is, even though they didn't. They played tough. We'll talk to Marshall at 1:30.
He'll have some spin.
We will. So we're looking forward to talking to Marshall. And then at 2:00, we'll do our NFL segment. It was even by, like I said, NFL standards, this was an insane week that we just saw. I mean, there's still one more game tonight, but it was an insane Thursday to Saturday to Sunday, just wild all around. So we'll dive into that coming up at 2:00. We'll get into some other stuff a little bit later too. Sixers, some Flyers stuff, some Phillies announcements, some extensions made, birthdays, movies, all that. So don't go anywhere. It is a Monday, and the Eagles won yet again, 13-1 on the season. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn. I'm Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, time for me to tell you about my guy, Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group. Yes, finding that right person, finding the person to trust, find the person who is going to invest your money the right way, right? It can be a challenge, can be hard, and it's critical. We know how important that is. I found the right person, and it's Jim and it's Principal Financial Group. For you, it could be any of the above: retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review. You might have a small business. You're trying to set up your employee benefits. Could be something else as well. And Jim is a great person to consult, to just kind of throw questions at him, bounce things off of him. I know I personally have entrusted my IRA, my 401k to him, and I couldn't be any happier. You will be as well. You can reach out to him. Just give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751. You can email him as well. Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.
post-game show with Seth Joyner,
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn,
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney,
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
and Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.